Good afternoon, my friends, and welcome to the Tony C. Davis Show, coming to you by way of the Raven International Network and the amazing women and men of power. Again, I am your host, Tony C. Davis, where we share everything from faith, family, fitness, finance, and fun, and anything in between. So if you have some valuable content you'd like to share, reach out to me at thetcdshow@gmail.com. That's thetcdshow@gmail.com, and we can share your valuable content. So stay tuned for this week's show. Hey guys, and welcome to the Tony C. Davis Show. I am your host, Tony C. Davis. I want to thank you for joining us today. Tony C. Davis Show, we share anything from faith, family, fitness, finance, fun, and anything in between. And we're coming to you live here on Facebook, but also check us out on Roku, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and Spreaker by way of the Raven International TV Network. And guys, today I have a young man that I met, I guess, almost a year ago, Mr. Errol Allen out of Atlanta. And I'm going to be upfront with you. Man, I wish I would have taken your advice about a year ago. I don't know if you remember, but I met Errol through a mutual friend, Andre Norman. And
yeah,
I was actually sitting in a couple of your classes that you have on Tuesday nights.
Yep.
And I kind of beat around the bush, dragged my feet a little, and I said, I know he knows what he's doing, but I've got some other obligations. Man, I wish I would have listened to you over a year ago.
It's never too late. It's never
too late. But again, guys, this is Mr. Errol Allen out of Atlanta. So, Errol, go ahead and introduce yourself to our viewers.
So, yes, my name is Errol J. Allen. I have been pretty much a full-time entrepreneur since the age of 19. And I was actually doing entrepreneurial stuff earlier. Prior to that, I actually started my first business endeavor at age 14 back in high school when I was selling snacks to my fellow classmates. But full-time entrepreneur since 19. I had one job my whole entire life that lasted for the span of 6 months. Age 21, I got introduced to real estate by one of my good friends, Jessica. She told me, hey, you need to come check out this networking event. They got a whole bunch of actual hands-on mentorship, not no books and courses and YouTube videos, because like most people know, those don't talk back. So I was automatically interested. I went and checked it out. I joined that group. Within 90 days, I was able to close my first deal, and then I've been on a run ever since.
Well, man, you ran through that pretty fast. I want to back up for a minute. Now, if I'm not mistaken, from your bio that I read, you were actually in school at one time.
Yes,
College.
I was in school. I went to Southern Polytechnic State University, Georgia Tech's sister school, and I did that fresh out of high school. I went to study industrial engineering, and like I tell my story prior to, I had a gift to do math and engineering. That was never a challenge to me, but it wasn't what I could envision myself doing with the rest of my life. Now, I kind of was, based on my entrepreneurial stuff I was doing in high school, I kind of figured maybe I should look even deeper into business, because even though it was what I was doing was, making money and it was a trade, I never felt like it was actually working. So I decided to do a business major, switch over my first semester of my second year of college. But it wasn't all that it was cracking to what I envisioned it was going to be. So I just retired from school after my first semester, sophomore year, and just went on my own from there.
And I want to say, first of all, to a lot of people that know me, I do value education, and I'm sure Errol does too. But what was it about college that did not appeal to you, Errol?
So the biggest disconnect for me, and I tell this to people all the time, was the person at the front of the room didn't have the results that I wanted for myself in my life. I felt like I was strictly learning from a book. Yes, there was a teacher or proctor or instructor there saying this is what it is, but if you can't grasp from life experiences that you yourself have gone through, like you can't tell me how to build a 6 or 7 figure business if you haven't done so yourself. So there was a disconnect for me there. And when I challenged the teacher, and this is literally my first day of business major in college, I asked the teacher that question. And everybody in the class thought I was like trying to one up the teacher. No, I'm genuinely curious, because if you do not have the results I want for myself, there's no more time I'm allowing you to have of mine. And
man, that's powerful, because it's odd to me, and we do have some visitors, or some viewers rather. We have Giovanni, I can't see that name. Also, a good friend of mine, Tony Simmons. But it's kind of odd for me for somebody to actually be teaching, let's say, an not economics, but a business class, and they don't even or have never run a business, and that's what you find oftentimes.
Mm-hmm.
So your teacher or your instructor didn't have what you wanted and couldn't show you how to get it. He could actually just show you theory.
Exactly. He can only grasp from what he can see in the book. And my immediate question after that was, well, if I can just read everything from the book, then why are you here? And everybody thought that was a jab, but it wasn't. I'm just generally trying to get the answers before I decide to continue further with this endeavor.
And that takes a real level of boldness, because I wish most students would do that. Every student would do that, especially if you're spending thousands of dollars on an education that may not pay off in the end. I don't know if I was talking to you or someone else. I believe in education, as I mentioned, but it really doesn't make a lot of sense for somebody to go spend thousands of dollars on education, and then after the education, after they get the degree, they can't get a job and they are thousands of dollars in debt. So that really doesn't. I think we should do a better job when it comes to education and preparing people for the real world.
Agreed.
So with that being said, as you look at your life, why did you choose real estate?
So in my age 19, when I retired from corporate America, when I retired from school, I sat down one night. I forgot which audiobook I heard it from, but I pretty much put up a map of how I wanted the next 10 years of my life to be. And so I did the activity. When I was going through it, I was like, okay, I want to do this, real estate, this and that. So real estate was one of my things I wanted to get done. And ironically, I was supposed to, had I stuck to my original 10-year plan, I should have started real estate at the age of 25. But that just goes to show, even though I had a plan, things didn't happen in the order that I envisioned was going to happen. I ended up starting real estate at age 20, 21. But because of that, now I'm able to do all the other things that I want to get done by 30 in a much faster time frame. Had I waited until I was 25 to start real estate.
So I want to say also again, Tony Simmons, I appreciate you for joining. Also, Darlene Hollis Higgins. But as you look at real estate as your vehicle of choice, what did you know about real estate before you started?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Listen, I don't have a big real estate background or a family who has a bunch of properties. That wasn't my upbringing. I literally, the day one when I came into the networking group that I was a part of at the time, that was my first day of ever being taught real estate. Honestly, if you had asked me prior, like the belief that most people have, I would have thought at some point down the line, I'm going to need my license to do what I'm doing today. But you don't need to be a licensed real estate agent in order to do real estate investing. That's like a big misconception that goes around the real estate industry.
So looking at your group that you work with, tell us about the group. Now, prior to what you have now, what was the group that you were part of?
Okay, so prior to the group Young Bucks Nation that I founded, I was working with another group, and it was called House Jerk. And that was where I got my intro into real estate, and it was really what it was, hands-on learning. So I would hang up and buddy with investors who was actually doing the business. I was listening to them talk the lingo. I was watching them fill out the contracts. I was pretty much just shadowing, and I able to ask opportunities as everything transpired in a rows real time, which was invaluable. I tell people all the time, like, the fastest way to fast track your success in real estate, do not do it alone. Get with somebody who's already gone the place that you want to go.
And so with that also being said, the group that you have now, and again, I don't know when I first met you. Yeah, it was Young Bucks Nation. Yes, it was Young Bucks Nation. And I can remember coming into the class, and Andre, again, that's why I was there. Andre Norman introduced me to the group. And at that time he was, of course he speaks, and at that time he was doing some real estate. But I can remember seeing you at the front of the class, and I was like, this cat can't be more than 20-something, 23, 24 years old. And I'm like, what does he know about real estate? And as I looked around the room, there were other young people. There wasn't a whole lot of people looking like me. But I was thinking, I'm sure they know what they're doing, but at the same time, I've got to listen just a little bit closer. And I think I came to about 2 or 3 more meetings, and I'll be honest with you, life got in the way, and I didn't get back down there. And like I said, I could kick myself over and over again because I have watched your group grow and expand, and I see what you guys do. And I think you have a term like always close or something like what's the phrase?
Always be closing.
Always.
Always be closing. Like you see it, always be closing.
Always be closing. So tell us more about Young Bucks Nation and always be closing.
Okay, so pretty much for those who do not know, what Young Bucks Nation is a millennial CEO network that's geared to showing people how to get into the real estate investing realm. It's literally taking execution and education and combine it together. There's a video course, and I break down how to do the wholesaling, the contracts, and all that stuff. I have a video course on how to do that. But the biggest thing is that you get involved and get engaged with other members in the community who are already closing deals. That way you can talk to people real time, get feedback real time, and go through your scenarios real time with a more seasoned partner. So it's all about each one teach one at YBN. And one of the things that we come up with is always be closing. It's probably everything we're doing. We're always closing deals, always sign off on contracts, or always picking up checks, like always be closing. And another one of the stuff that you might see us say all the time is ain't no day like closing day. So those are our little hashtags or things.
And I am so impressed, because I see, as again, Young Bucks Nation, of course, a lot of young people, and that is very impressive. Young people, especially who look like us, who are actually involved in real estate and doing something in their community. But I also see some older cats in there, a few from time to time. And so who do you have as a mentor, or you just simply one that mentors?
So like I was saying prior to our stuff, I have a rehab mentor who's been doing new construction, and he worked with D.R. Horton and all the big builder companies for over a decade. So I pulled any of my experiences from rehab and from him. But wholesaling came from one of my previous mentors to that. And I learned the whole breakdown of wholesale game, double close, and assignment contracts from that other prior mentor I had. So I do pull from. And then, of course, I have mentors outside of real estate too. But my primary real estate mentor is just that. He's been doing it for 20 plus years.
Now you did tell me it's never too late, but first of all, I want to go back to Young Bucks Nation. What inspired you to, start the group, and how did you lay it out? How did you come up with this plan?
So, believe it or not, in the real estate world, and actually it was Andre who said this too, and he was spot on when he said it. So he said, I've been incarcerated for over a decade, but when I got released back into the world and I got into real estate, I've never seen so much crookedness, backhandedness, shadiness going down the real estate industry. This is literally what he saw in prison is holding a feather to what people are getting away with in real estate. And that's true. For all the good and the great things that you see, there was also a lot of bad in the real estate investing industry. So I wanted to bring together a community of good and surround people with just nothing but good, like no backhandedness, nobody taking your lead and then making money off of it. I just want to put together a community of good that was also millennial oriented as well, because there is nothing like that. If you look around, there was no other that I know of millennial community that's doing what we're doing.
Yeah, well, definitely. When you say a millennial community, I'm sure you know of Jay Morrison.
Yes, I do know Jay Morrison.
He's another big time guy in the real estate, but to have a group of young people, and Jay, he's not old, definitely not old. But when I look at people, and you mentioned the young man who may have been incarcerated or was incarcerated, real estate and business in general gives any person the opportunity, even if they've had, some kind of, misdeeds in their past, incarceration, to actually upgrade or improve their lifestyle, even with a record. So I know and I imagine that in the real estate, when you got to have a real estate license, are there some restrictions for someone that has had, some incarcerations or some run-ins with the law?
So I honestly wouldn't know the answer to that question, because I myself am not a licensed real estate agent. I'm strictly a real estate investor. So I wouldn't be able to give you the full insight on that question.
That's the point I wanted to make. I do appreciate that. So you are actually doing what you're doing, rebuilding your community, helping other people, and you don't have a license.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's powerful. And see, oftentimes people are left out because they seem to think that they have to have a license in order to do what they want to do. I do have a question or something here from, let me see, who is this? Yvonne Dougie Doug. I'm interested. Can't wait to join soon.
Oh, Yvonne, yeah. She reached out to the group the other day. She wants to join YBN. Happy you can make it.
Well, all right. So not having to be concerned about a real estate license, what does your group have to offer?
So it's an array of things, and I tell people all the time, go check out the website, and I should know it on the top of my head. But some of the things we do offer is we have bi-weekly events that are free to attend, where it gives you continued education past what you already have in the YBU when you join Young Bucks Nation. YBU is Young Bucks University, which contains my 8 steps to building a multiple six-figure wholesaling business and all the previous recordings from prior events we've had in the past. We also have a skip tracing service where people can send in their leads and we get them back their owner's contact information within a very quick turnaround time. We also have, what else do we have? Coaching calls that go down every Sunday. And actually the coaching call is scheduled to go down at 8 o'clock. So literally hopped on this at 7 to go straight to the coaching call for members at 8.
Oh, wow.
Bi-weekly call parties that we have at the office every other Saturday, the first and third Saturday. That way fellow Young Bucks can bring their leads into a contained and controlled environment and not be worried about, well, am I going to get shaded? Or like, no, it's an environment where you can be completely transparent. Like, yo, this is the situation with this homeowner. They want this much. What can we do? A lot of people have closed their deals from the call parties. That's why I love doing them. And there's a bunch of other services, but I just can't think of them off the top of my head.
Well, wait a minute. You said a lot of people close their deals from what now?
The call party. So people go to the call party who... Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I saw, if I'm not mistaken, I saw you all like doing like calls. You were actually challenging some of your students to make a calls, weren't you?
Yes, I was. So one of the things, so when there's some Young Bucks who say, oh, I haven't closed a deal yet, the very first thing I turn them and ask is, how many homeowners have you talked to in the past week? And then once they answer that question, I ask, well, how many call parties have you attended to make sure you can properly talk to those homeowners? So yes, I do constantly harp on that.
So it's kind of like a role play?
No, it's live. It's live. Like, you will call your lead, an actual homeowner. You will put them on speaker. We will listen to it side by side. And if you need coaching, like, what do I say next? We will literally tell you right there on the spot, say this.
Man, that's on the job training.
Exactly. Literally, hands on.
Wow. So with your group, Young Bucks Nation, I may have asked this, but where did you get the term or the brand Young Buck Nation? And how has social media helped you in this?
Great question. Okay, so twofold. First part, so back when it wasn't an official company, a movement and all that, it was me and 3 of my other millennial friends. We was always closing deals. This is like 2016, 15, 17. And one of the OG investors is like, man, these kids, they a day past 21, 22, and they over here at the closing table taking selfies at the attorney's office, like bringing a new way of doing business. Like, them Young Bucks are killing it. So we just always been associated as those Young Bucks. So after, a year and some change, I'm like, you know what? I brought me and my same millennial friends who are crushing the business. Why don't we make this a thing? Why don't we make this Young Bucks Nation? And mind you, I tell this all the time. I didn't want to be the front person. I didn't want to be the CEO. I was just like, this is a great idea that one of y'all can run with. And they were like, that's perfect. Do it. I'm like, me? They're like, yes, your idea, run with it. And all of them have played supporting parts and roles and helping me build the brand to what it is to this day. Still work with me too.
And branding is important. Branding is definitely important. How has social media helped you with your branding?
I mean, it elevated my game to the next level. I raised all my private money through social media. I don't want to tell you how much private money I raised, but I raised a good portion of my private money through social media. I've had deals come to me based off my social media. One of our, actually like a quarter of our YouTube videos, if you look us up on our YouTube, Young Bucks Nation, we've had people bring deals to other Young Buck members because they saw them closing deals on prior videos. Like, hey, we saw you close this deal. Can you help us out and give us some advice on how to get this one closed too? So social media has been a blessing to us. I take full advantage of it every time I can.
Well, I think I may have alluded to this earlier, and I may have missed the question. So you mentioned to me that it's never too late. Well, what about people who have, don't have the money or don't have the credit to get started in real estate? You hear all the time you can get started in real estate, no cash, no credit. How is that even possible?
So yes, I'm gonna tell you, when I got started in real estate, I had a 590 credit score. I was negative $50,000 in debt, half from student loans, half from credit card debt, and I had a car that was literally about to have all of the wheels fall off. So it is totally possible. I was able to close my first deal for 90 days with the hands-on mentorship. I made $3,000, and then 2 weeks after that, I closed my second deal. I made another $3,000, and then 2 more weeks after that, in literally a 2-month period, I made $9,000. That was the most money I've ever seen in that short time period in my life. So yes, the way we can get about doing this is called wholesaling, where you put properties under contract and assign your interest. It requires none of your own personal capital. Doesn't require you to have good credit either. You just have to have the wherewithal and knowledge base to do it and execute it. And that's what we specialize at YBN.
So you do teach wholesaling as well?
Yes, sir. So we have.
Are you involved in any? Is your business just residential or commercial?
So right now it's just strictly residential, but I will say, and we've been talking about amongst the group so we have like 2 new construction projects going on right now. We just finished one of our Airbnb projects literally like 2 days ago, and we have another rehab that's going to be done in about a month's time. After all of that's off our plate, some of the Young Buck members and some of our private investors want to get into multifamily. So we will be actively looking closer towards the end of the year for multifamily.
Man, let me tell you something. I know you got a call at 8 o'clock, and I'm kind of rushing through this. But as you mentioned the Airbnb. That was something that was definitely unheard of 2-3 years ago. I really don't understand it, but you all have gotten involved in that. And I don't understand the Airbnb, what it all entails, but you all have gotten involved in that strictly from you stepping out and taking a chance in real estate.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
At the age of 22, 23.
21 is when I started. Yes.
21. And you're 25 now?
I am 25 now. Yes.
A CEO of his own company, started out with no prior knowledge in real estate, and is now leading one of the fastest growing real estate groups in Atlanta, probably the country, Mr. Errol Allen. So Errol, tell our viewers, those that may catch it a little bit later, how they can find out more about YBN and yourself. How do they get started? How do they contact you?
So if you want to find out more about our movement, YBN, Young Bucks Nation, you can just simply go to youngbucksnation.com. And if you want to look us up on social media, it's Young Bucks Nation on Facebook and YouTube. And then on Instagram, it is Young Bucks Nation TV. So that's where you can come out and see all of our stuff, what we have and what we bring to the table. If you want to reach out to me personally, you can look me up on social media by my name, Errol J. Allen. Errol J. Allen on YouTube, Errol J. Allen on Instagram. You can look at my personal website, erroljallen.com. Okay, my phone's kind of blowing up. My bad. erroljallen.com. If you want to see my personal website about me and my bio and my history that goes into more detail about it from there. But that's the best 2 ways to get in contact with me.
Hey guys, again, this is Tony. Again, Mr. Errol Allen, young real estate entrepreneur, tycoon in the making.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey man, again, I got to reach out to you again. You all still have your meetings on Tuesday nights?
Yes, so we switched them from weekly to now bi-weekly meetings. We actually have one coming up this Tuesday at the E-Complex, 3400 West Hospital Avenue. It's called Playing with House Money. I'm going to have one of my friends, Brian, come out and talk about financial strategies to leverage your access cash in your bank accounts.
Well, if you don't mind, after we finish here, if you go over to the page, Errol, and put your the information about the event in the comments for those that may like to come out and support that. I definitely got to get back over there and see you again, man. I got to get in some of those classes. Okay. Give us some final words of wisdom, encouragement, inspiration. And guys, again, I'm going to let him wrap this up, but I'm going to say, reach out to me if you have some valuable content. Again, here at the Tony C. Davis Show, where we share anything from faith, family, fitness, finance, fun, and anything in between. Again, Mr. Errol Allen, give us a wrap, sir.
All right, I'm gonna leave you off my two pieces of advice that I give everybody going into the business or come out the business or at the end of all my events. I can't stress this enough. The fastest way to go nowhere in this business is to do it alone.
Fastest way to go nowhere is to do it alone.
Let that fester for a second. Yeah, the fastest way to go nowhere in this business is to do it alone. What do I mean? Now that means go find you a team, a mentor, a community, a support group that you can work with. That way you can elevate. Team stands for together, everybody achieves more. So find yourself a team to work with. And my other piece of advice that I know this is for the more seasoned people who may have not closed their first deal or may have found a hump in their business that they can't get over yet. Just know that this business works. Now it's just a matter of, do you work?
Hey guys, you heard it from the man himself, Mr. Errol Allen. Again, this is Tony C. Davis, Tony C. Davis Show. Thank you all for joining. Please share, comment, and share if you find value in this, and we'll all see you. In the words of my good friend, Mr. Willis Wright, I'll see you at the top or from the top, because the bottom is definitely way too crowded. Be blessed. Hey guys, so that's a wrap for another show. I really do appreciate you for joining us today. I hope that you found some value in today's show. And listen, if you have some valuable content to share, reach out to me at thetcdshow@gmail.com, thetcdshow@gmail.com. We'll share your valuable content with the world. Now listen, also you can follow me live on Facebook, where I actually do some live recording. So I appreciate you, my friends. And in the words of my good friend, Mr. Willis Wright, I'll see you at the top or from the top, because the bottom is definitely way too crowded. God bless.